Do you have any holidays planned this year? Well, I guess it's kind of hard to plan anything, Francisca. Let's start actually with that as a question for you. So, how has COVID and lockdown and all of that treated you?
Lockdown has been interesting because on March 28th, I got married at 50.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. So I am a Corona bride, I called myself, because I got married remotely at home. So I'm excited because I never really thought at 50 I would find such a man from my own country. So that's COVID for you. So I did myself a hashtag Corona bride, and people were laughing.
I love that. Corona bride. Francisca, why don't we start? So we've kind of started where you are now, and it's so beautiful. I love it. It's still making me laugh. COVID bride. Tell me about yourself. So for anybody who's never heard of you or never heard your music or your book, how would you describe yourself?
I'm this girl that was born girl number 3 in a succession of girls in 1970 in Zimbabwe. And you know how society tends to value boys more than it values girls. So I was born girl number 3, gender wrong, into the energy of you are not enough. I was named by my mom, Ndaiziwe. And we know these loaded names are indigenous names. Ndaiziwe, had I known, a sign of disappointment, pain. So that's how I came into this world. And, I took punches in primary school for being smarter than some boys. In secondary school, a young man grabbed me and, I felt like the temperature is rising. It's not desire, it's fear. And I just froze, like, what's going on? And I was asking myself, by being silent, have I given this young man permission to touch my body? No. So I had not known a man that way. When I went to work, the manager grabbed my tie and I had to throw it away from my tie. So you have this feeling, things are just being done to you. I got married and it took me 12 years to extract myself from that toxic environment. So I began to want to know, what am I worth? There should be something better than what is going on with me as a girl, as a teen, as a woman. So I wanted to know. And as I began to realize that I am, in fact, an equal human being with equal human rights who deserves equal treatment, I began to stand up and to speak up. And I had to write up, Mother, behold thy son. I did not want my son to be like any of those boys or men who violated me. And really, Mother, behold thy son is an invitation to mothers to intentionally schedule and teach gender equality in their homes so that our sons may jettison this toxic masculinity that makes them think they are worth more. They deserve more respect, more money, more privilege than the girl child. Mother, behold thy son is also inviting mothers and women to give boys and men safe spaces where they can express themselves without feeling blamed or shamed. Because the truth is, we are all victims of a system called patriarchy. That system that pits brother against sister, husband against wife, co-worker against co-worker. So we are all victims of this system. And for me, the invitation is to mothers and to allies, those males who understand that this is not just. And they stand by women because they know they've been beneficiaries of the system that gives them entitlements and privileges as compared to girls and women.
Let's talk about, so you said that for you, the book it really drew on your own experiences. So when you decided to write the book, did you already have your own children?
Yes, I started writing it in 2018 and I published it on October 12, 2019. But I had my first child when I was 23. I was still in college. When I was 22, actually, sorry. I had my second child when I was 23. So by the time I was 23, I had 2 kids. I was a student mom and I had 2 kids. That was heavy. That was irresponsible. And I would warn any girl, if you are in school, do school. You don't want to go the path that I went. However, I always say, children, my children, I decided to keep them and their gifts. Going back, yes, I was a mom. So as I was learning when I shared about my journey, that I wanted to know, what am I worth? What do I deserve as a human being? Because deep inside, you know, there's a violation. You don't feel that life is just, life is painful. So by the time I was 22 and 23, I was already a mom, looking for the best for my children. There were 2 girls. My boy, I had him after I finished college 5 years later. So I experienced these injustices. Plus, in my own family, as the girl child, that girl number 3 in a succession, the boy came 4th. When my father died, he got everything. So as I was struggling as a student mom, just trying to balance my life as a young mom, my mother died, my father died. So double bereavement and having to deal with the family issue, it was new. We thought everything was fine until the system, culture told us, he is the heir. You girls go get married, you have nothing. For me, because I was my mother and my father's child, together with my brother, who I grew up fighting with as a sibling, who I grew up doing monkey business with, climbing trees and doing everything that siblings do, loving one another, me giving him my pocket money and him protecting me against those boys. What went wrong? We loved one another. So as a mom, I used that pain to teach me that I would never do that to my own kids. The 2 girls and a boy, I set out. Sometimes you do it unintentionally. When I wrote the book now in 2018, it was just reminiscing. Oh my gosh, I was actually there. I was doing it. This is what I did with my kids. But now I know it was the pain that taught me that I did not want my kids to feel the pain that we felt as siblings when we had to deal with that issue of knowing that as a girl child, you're actually not enough. You deserve nothing.
So who do you want to read the book? Like, is it mothers raising sons? Is it the sons themselves? Like, who do you want to read, and what's the message that you want each of them to take away from reading the book?
So I would say, as a mom of 2 girls and 1 boy, and raising them in one household, I would advise that whoever is a mother, whether they have boys or girls, they will locate their story in mine. It won't be exactly the same. So this book is meant for that woman who feels like they are worth nothing, they are not worth anything, they are not enough, to actually draw strength from knowing that you can actually talk about these issues. Because culture is used to oppress us. We are good girls when we keep quiet. I went against that at the expense of being denied and shunned by everybody. But that was a way of liberating myself from the culture of silence that says, girls keep quiet, sit down. It's the boys and men in charge in the family. They make the decisions, you don't. So as long as one is a woman, they don't have to be a mother. They have a story, a similar story. Maybe a few don't, where there's been equality in their families. I celebrate them. But I know that the majority of us have gone through this story. So the idea is, as I tell my story, you have yours. It will never be exactly the same as mine. You have your ways of dealing with issues in your home. It may never be exactly the same as mine. But what we are saying in Mother Behold Thy Son is the boy and the girl are equal. What are we going to do when we are raising them in the home to make sure that none of them feels like they're entitled to more.
So how do we begin to do that, Francisca? Because what you said is, like you said, this is generations and generations of this messaging that has been handed down. So what are the practical steps for us as mothers, for those who want to be our allies? What are the practical ways that we can start to affect change?
Okay, so I always say change comes from telling the truth. Me telling my story to my son, that I was born girl number 3, that boys punched me, that boys groped me, that my manager groped me, that my marriage was not good because there were these unequal gender relations. I teach my son, he hears my pain. And we know mothers and sons have this bond. I'm emphasizing the sons more because we want to deal with the root problem, the root cause of the problem. It's patriarchy, and patriarchy gives more power to boys and men. We raise them saying boys will be boys. Oh, Shumba, treat him very well. We say that to our young boys, and there comes a time when they actually feel they are more equal than their mothers even. So it's all in what we do, the very small things we do in the home. But for me, the first thing, because you asked for steps, so the first step is for us to tell our stories. Let's not lie to our kids that everything in our culture is positive. It is not. If girls are going to feel pain because they've been excluded from enjoying the economic wealth in the family, then that is not nice. If girls are going to be groped and touched and they do not like it, that is not nice. So those are some of the stories we can tell our sons. For me, the reason why I was telling these stories is for my son to know that if someone feels like mama, then that's not okay. So please don't do that to anybody's child. And then comes to chores. My son, I'll brag a bit because I raised him by myself. My son is a pilot at 22. I don't care what he does. He is my son. He cooks, he cleans, he changed diapers for my nephews and nieces. I taught him well. He was talking to me yesterday about going to somebody's father to go and ask for his daughter for a date. I will sit down with that daughter one day if she becomes my daughter-in-law, and I'll tell her, I taught him to cook, I taught him to clean, I taught him to change diapers. I prepared him for fatherhood. Because for me, there are things that I wished I had had as a mother, the support of a father. I didn't have it. That's a sickness in our society. Men who get away from their responsibilities, men who get away from doing chores in the home, and the girls slave away, the women slave away. We are tired, but we don't talk. As a mother, you have the power to do it now. We don't need an NGO program. We don't need any other person. We need ourselves to start changing some of the small things that we do in the home. My child is not my father. My father is dead. My son is my son. I will not call him Shumba, Baba. No, he is not. He is my son. And he is equal to his sisters. When I die, they know that when mama dies, everyone is going to get a third of what she has. But after everyone gets their third as my child, they have an obligation to look after the vulnerable. Among the three, that is what I taught them. That is what's going to happen. If they choose not to follow that, then I will have done my part. It's up to them. So there are those things. What toys do we buy our kids? Do your boys play indoor houses or it's girl stuff? Do your girls also venture on the raft terrain, on the ATVs, or it's for boys? So do they wear pink? My boy wears pink. He doesn't care. But some get laughed at and they worry about that. So I'm saying, while I don't have it all figured it out, there are things that we can do as mothers to teach our sons to be different, to have time to sit with them, to ask them how they are feeling and give them permission to cry.
That's a beautiful point that you're making there about the difference in how we allow our girl children versus our boy children to express emotion, right? That's so true. That's such a powerful thing. What's been the reaction to the book from anyone who's read it? Or I know you've been doing workshops across the country. What's been the feedback that you've received from people? And what are some of the things that people who've come to your workshops have said about their own experiences and how your book is helping them?
So what I've been doing is I did a launch in Iqaluit on November 29, 2019. So the Deputy Minister of Family Services, which is the same ministry that I work for here in Iqaluit, she officiated the opening. The first thing that she told me as feedback is, it's an easy read. It took her 5 hours. She read it on the plane. And she's like, you said everything. You said everything. Like, it's a guide. It's a manual. She had so many positive things to say about how even she, as an Inuk woman, could locate herself in my story. So this story goes beyond cultural boundaries. It's every girl's story. It may be a bit different, but that's what she told me. And interesting enough, people were expecting me to talk a lot. I'm talkative by nature. But that night, I felt so full because of seeing how people were responding to the message. And I did say, I'm done talking. Does somebody want to talk? That was not part of the script. But in my spirit, I felt like inviting somebody. A man stood up. He said, because you shared your story, can I share mine? And it left us in tears. And so this is an African man standing up to say, this is the impact of your story. Not everyone has had positive energy around the book. There are men who feel challenged, who feel like I am fighting with them. One of the messages that is in Mother Behold Thy Son is to say, gender equality is not a fight between men and women. It's a call for collaboration, for a win-win situation where we collaborate as opposed to compete, because we are all victims of the same system. And I invite these brothers whose masculinity feels challenged because a woman is standing up for what has always been right. That we were quiet doesn't mean it was not happening. And
that's a powerful thing that you just said there, Francesca, that I think so many times it's seen as conflict, that anytime, whether it be us as women, for gender equality, or whether it be race equality or any other inequality that is being addressed, that it's taken to be conflict. And yet it's not really. It's just, do you as a human being see me as a human being? And can you as a human being treat me as a human being? That's all that is ever being asked, right?
Yes. And the consciousness, the level of consciousness that I hope we operate at is that of recognizing the underlying issues, the system that makes us fight one against the other, that is responsible for divide and conquer. And you can apply this to gender, you can apply this to race, you can apply this to ethnicism. There's always a system. For us, the task lies in uprooting that system, exposing it for what it is, that you cannot pit me against my brother or another woman or my husband. So what I hope for is that understanding and acknowledgement from men. They're entitled. I said in Mother Behold Thy Son, male entitlement and white entitlement, or male privilege and white privilege, are not different. Someone is benefiting. whether it's power, whether it's money, whether it's social standing, they're benefiting from the system. And they cannot see it because they are the ones that are benefiting and they're comfortable. So once you start talking about changing the power skills, they know the benefit is going to go away.
A couple of things. First of all, that because culturally, and especially for us who've come from African cultures and African societies, where for a man, those aren't traditional things that he would do. Sometimes it's just, they don't know, like I just think that, oh, you should know that now this needs to be done and the floor needs to be swept. And sometimes that comes from a place of they don't know. I'm not speaking for my husband because he knows and he knows how to do it and he does it. He was raised by an amazing mother. But there are where, because they never grew up having to do it, they don't know. The other thing too that I feel we as mothers need to do is to teach our girl children that they should not treat themselves as martyrs. Because I see so many times where women will kill themselves to do all the things and do all the work in the house and whatever, because they want to be seen as, oh, I'm a martyr. And so we also need to step out of martyring ourselves to be seen, this is the role of a mother, right?
Yes, I agree. And it's all, like you're saying, we are programmed to do that. So actually, if I leave the dishes not washed, then I'm not woman enough. But I'm not defined by a dish. I did not come out of my mother's tummy holding a broom or a dish. I just came out as me, just like the boy came out as him. So we have to move from that mindset where these roles are assigned to us and they're given genders like, oh, this is feminine, this is masculine. What I know, like, I like the fact that you talked about us empowering our girls. So Mother Behold Thy Son emphasizes empowering the boy, because right now, every intervention that's being talked about around gender is around empower women and girls.
Right.
Fine, the talk around empowering sons is in the background. So picture today's girl that's empowered, that's going to talk rights, that's going to be in spaces and, very vocal, very powerful. And if there's no equal empowerment of the boy child, we're going to leave our children behind. So for me as a mom, my conflict was, I'm a gender activist. How do I even talk about men in my household? There are 3 women already. My boy is outnumbered. So what language am I using when I talk about men? So I stopped bashing men, because I'm like, I'm raising a man. He's going to hear men are dogs, men are idiots, men are this. He's going to internalize that and feel small because mama is bad-mouthing men. And he grows up feeling guilty, carrying the weight perhaps of his father and his uncles and the whole clan. What did he do? He's just a child that was born. So for me, it's that balance, like you said. Let's empower our girls to know that they were not born to do these things.
Yeah. Francesca, what's your big dream for what do you want the book to do? What's next for you and the book?
Okay. So what I hope next is for as many people, as many households as possible to have this book. I say so humbly, knowing that I don't have all the solutions, but I know that it's been working in some households. Chapter 17 of this book is a call to action. So you read my story, you feel some certain way, just as many people came up to share their story. But I don't want you to end there. It's what am I going to do about this reality in my family? If you are raising young ones, there are targets. So here's where I was coming from. These global goals, gender equality, we start hearing about it at the top. Sustainable development goal number 5, gender equality. It's way up there. I've been to the conference, by the way, Women Deliver, the one that pushes for gender equality at a global level. Here I am thinking, how do we get to achieve this global level goal in 2030 at that level when we are not doing the programming in the home? And when socialization, the way we raise our kids, is cited as one of the root causes which props patriarchy. So who is actually in a place to cause gender equality? That global level or the mothers who are socializing the kids, the first teacher in the home? So my big dream is, yes, we can have SDG 5 achieve gender equality by 2030 at higher levels. We must operate at all levels, granted. But real inequality is in the home. That's where we are breeding the individuals that are going to the schools, to the cultural groups, in the media, in the corporate world, in the parliaments. At the helm of countries are men that we have told, you are worth more. Look at the world. We are being governed by men. And there's one thing that's common. While they're talking equality, they've been raised that they are better. No wonder we see the statistics. No wonder we don't see women, even though women are competent, even though motherhood is a leadership model on its own, we don't have enough women at the helm of countries. Why? Because of that system of patriarchy. So my big dream is to begin to tell the world the truth that mothers are powerful and mothers are capable of leading countries. Mothers are capable of transforming this world, because real change begins in the home. Then it will go up. The individuals that we nurture in the home are the same individuals that we find everywhere else in the world. Of course, we do have schools teach our children, the media teaches our children in all its various ways, the state teaches children, the institutions in the whole system. But as mothers, if we consciously schedule and teach equality as a foundation, at the foundational level, when they go out, the world is going to face a lot of questions if they try to educate our kids otherwise. So we have power.
Where can people find the book, Francisca?
On Amazon, just Amazon Marketplace.ca, Japan, Europe, Australia. It's everywhere. It's gone global. So far, that's the best place. That's the best place to find it on Amazon. So it's just a question of Amazon, the marketplace, put in the name, in my name, it will come up. I can always share a link somewhere. They can also find it on my Facebook page. I've got a book page, an author page, and a coach page, where I go live sometimes and talk about my book, what's going on with it, and the ultimate goal. What I'm working on right now is to have Mothers United as an organization where we are saying, I am ready to schedule and teach. Chapter 17 is the steps. If you want to be handheld in terms of how you teach, because it can be an onerous task, like where do I begin? I am here to share that. Part of it is in the book. Those who have done some work before around teaching and whatever, you can actually get the book and start doing it with your own family. There are 12 action steps in the book for you to begin to question yourself, how have you been doing things? And you can always add more, because you may actually have more than what's in the book in terms of what your family practices are like. So it's really that intentional, like being intentional about, I'm going to schedule it. You know how when we want to change habits or we want to do things, if it's not in the schedule, it's not done. So this mama says, schedule it first. Let's make it Friday afternoon, after school, 6 p.m. Mommy, daddy, all the kids are there, or mommy only, like in my case, there was mommy only, or daddy only, because they are also single dad families. They are back from work and they sit down with the kids. They check in. How was your day? How was it at school? And then you get into the details of if they have any stories around what's happening to them, the stories will be there. I gave such a platform to my kids. I'm not just talking about something that I didn't do. I had such a platform where my kids gave me feedback even about how I mother them. And when I was wrong, I had to apologize. And I made music with them using the mbira that they taught me, and we healed together. We made a song. For me, is my commitment, because the programming, like I say, you want to teach equality, but you're like, no, but boys shouldn't cook. So I'm also going through that struggle. But he's a boy, he can't cook. Oh no, but no, I'm actually trying to teach him to do it, because that's the way I think he'll be a better partner. So there's that struggle. So for me, I used music to kind of seal the commitment that boy and girl, give them equal opportunities, and we are equal. So however people do it in their homes, some don't do music. But for me, the appeal is, let's schedule it and begin to teach it. This is the manual, plus much more that's coming. I can handhold families who want to create a different legacy. I'm telling you, as for me, I think about my grandchildren to come. I don't have one yet, and great-grandchildren. And if I died today, Corona or whatever, I think I'll have the satisfaction that I really did something that my heart was telling me, do it, because it's the right thing to do. And your son has a chance at happiness when he offers himself as an equal.
So you talked about how you and your children use music. Tell me about that other side of you, the music side of Francisca.
The music side is really crazy because I don't actually view myself as a musician. I make music. I make music from the heart. I started making music when I was feeling so about an experience that I had. And coincidentally, I had bought 3 sets of mbira and put them in the home. I didn't know how to play it. My son was like, Mom, don't come to my school with that thing. It's evil. I'm not going to play it. I'm like, who told you? And then my daughters picked it up. The first one, Nomalanga, she picked it up and she was like, she knows what to do already. I'm like, interesting. So I churned out the feelings through music with my children. And then we ended up coming up with 12 songs, crazy songs, rebellious songs that were never played on radio because they were saying truths that made many uncomfortable. But that's okay, because for me, I really think that music healed us as a family. And we had a connection beyond words with my kids. So it made it easy for me to discuss anything with the kids, because we found that common interest and common expression at a higher level. I just feel like it's spiritual, that I could be taught by my own kids while I taught them as well. So yeah, that's how we made a lot of songs together. We're still crazy together.
Do you find yourself now reaching for music in times when you need of stress, or in times where you're looking for comfort?
Yes. Mbira became my go-to. It saved my life when I was about to take my life after I was jilted and I thought I was worth nothing. My heart was shattered into a million pieces, and as I was picking myself up, Mbira was one of the things that I leaned on, and I composed the song Mbira Zangu. So I actually realized that it's very therapeutic, not only to me. People tell me what it has done for them. I do Freedom Fridays. Tonight I'll be on at 6:30, and there's a regular who is begging me, please don't stop. Now she plays Mbira. She never thought she would play, but she just watched me. She's like, I want to play. So there are many stories of people healing, not only my stories, but stories of women who watched me play and came to me and said, I want that thing that you play. One of them is Enoch. She's an indigenous woman. She bought mbira on Amazon, and I taught her in my house how to play mbira. She's busy healing herself in Ottawa now. using them.
You can buy mbiras on Amazon. Actually, interesting, for anyone who doesn't know what a mbira is, how do you describe a mbira? What is a mbira?
Okay, this is what I'm going to do too. Boroi, makadini, salibonani, linjani, dimacheroni, mafachini, muriwandi, here. Boroi, makadini, salibonani, linjani, dimacheroni, mafachini, muriwandi, here. Bonjour, hello, canwipi. ¿Cómo estás? Ni hao, jambo, shalom, namaste, konnichiwa, molweni, dumela, muribanji, moroi, makadini, salibonani, linjani, dimacheroni, mawachini, muriwani,
Very own impromptu mbira performance by the amazing Francisca. That was beautiful, Francisca. Thank you. And I love how you went completely international. We had some Japanese in there, so like everywhere. That's so incredible. Francesca, thank you. This has been such a joy for me. Question for you. What is your biggest dream for yourself?
Oh, that's a big one. So my biggest dream for myself is to make a contribution in this world to make it more equal, more loving, and more free. To leave a legacy within each family and to fully recognize my power as a mother, as a life giver.
That's a beautiful answer. And final question for you. So Ndini means I am. How would you finish that sentence? I am.
I am blessed. I am grateful.
We are blessed and we are so grateful, Francisca, for you making time today, all the way from, although it's not freezing cold today, but that's all I associate where you live with. It's just cold. I'll have to come visit you, but I can only come in the summertime. Thank you, Francesca. It's been truly beautiful. I wish you so much success with the book. Please send us the link because we'd love to share it with everybody. And where can people find you? So could you tell me the name of your website or Facebook, wherever you are, where people can find you?
Okay, so on Facebook, I'm Francisca Mandeya or Francisca, however people want to call me. I'm cool with that. So Francisca Mandeya, and on Amazon, if people want to buy, on my Facebook page, there's actually a push button. So if anyone gets to my Facebook author page, there's my personal page and there's my author page. On my author page, there's a push button. Someone can go straight to Amazon from my Facebook page. The website is coming up. It's mothersunited.ca, but it's something is being worked on from behind the scenes. So far, it's just the author link to Amazon.
That's perfect. Francesca, I wish you so much success with the book, with the work that you're doing, because it is very much a needed conversation. And like you said, that we as the mothers, because we tend to be the primary caregivers of our children, really have the biggest job in terms of how we raise our children, both our sons and our daughters, for us to recognize and to help them recognize that we are all equal. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And it was such a joy. Thanks, everybody who's watching today. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Thanks, Francesca.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Here's what I'd love to ask you as our community. So I want to know from you. who do you want me to have on the show? Who would you like me to interview? Who are some of the amazing women whose stories you would like for us to share on this platform? If you have any fantastic ideas, and even better, if you can connect me with them, please comment, leave your comment, or DM me and tell me who are some incredible stories I should be sharing on this platform. And the other ask that I have of you is for you to subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and share. Please share. If you find any of our interviews inspiring, please share them with your friends and family.